Olivia Washington checked her watch as her private car pulled up to the curb. She had exactly 47 minutes before her next meeting. The tall glass building of Interstellar Financial Corporation shone in the morning sunlight. This was not the main headquarters, but one of the many branches across Chicago. Olivia did not often visit the branches in person. As CEO of the largest banking system on and off Earth, her time was spent in boardrooms and space stations more than bank lobbies. Today was different. She needed cash for a gift, something personal and untraceable for the visiting diplomat from Mars colony. Digital transfers were the norm now, especially for someone of her position, but some things still called for paper money. "I'll be back in 15 minutes, Darren," she told her driver as she stepped onto the sidewalk. The doors slid open automatically as she approached. The marble floor of the bank gleamed under bright lights. 5 teller stations lined the far wall, 3 of them open with short lines of customers. To the right, comfortable chairs formed a waiting area. To the left, glass-walled offices housed loan officers and financial advisors. Everything was exactly as it should be. Olivia had approved this layout herself when they standardized all Earth branches 10 years ago. She joined the shortest line behind an older man who was finishing his transaction. Olivia wore her usual work clothes. A perfectly fitted navy blue suit with subtle silver threads that mimicked the stars, a nod to the off-world branches that had made her bank famous. Her natural hair was styled in a short professional cut that framed her face well. The small silver pin on her lapel marked her as a space traveler, someone who had been beyond Earth's atmosphere more than 10 times. Most people wore these pins with pride. The older man moved away and Olivia stepped forward. The young teller looked up with a practiced smile. His name tag read, Kevin Mills. "Good morning," Olivia said. "I'd like to make a withdrawal." "Of course," Kevin replied. "May I see your ID and account information?" Olivia placed her identification card and bank access chip on the counter. Kevin scanned both items and looked at his screen. His eyes widened slightly. "This is an executive-level account," he said, his voice changing tone. "Yes, it is," Olivia confirmed. "I'd like to withdraw $5,000, please." Kevin looked from the screen to Olivia and back again. "I'm sorry, but I'll need to get my manager for a withdrawal of this size from this type of account." Olivia remained calm. She was used to this. 27 years in banking had prepared her for moments like these. She watched as Kevin hurried to a glass office in the corner where a man in a gray suit sat working at a computer. Through the glass, she saw Kevin speaking quickly, gesturing toward her. The manager looked up, frowned, and stood with visible reluctance. They walked back to the counter together. "Good morning, ma'am. I'm Gregory Palmer, the branch manager," the man said. His tone was not friendly. "There seems to be some confusion with your account." "There's no confusion," Olivia said simply. "I would like to withdraw $5,000 from my account." Gregory looked at the screen again. "This is an executive-level account, and our security protocols require additional verification for large withdrawals. These high-value accounts are often targets for fraud." "I understand. My biometric data should be on file," Olivia replied, keeping her voice even. She placed her palm on the scanner next to the counter. Gregory watched the screen, then shook his head. "The system is having trouble verifying your identity. Perhaps there's another branch you normally use, one where they know you." The suggestion was clear, and Olivia had heard it many times before. Even in 2087, some things hadn't changed. She had built this bank from a small regional chain into the first financial institution to establish branches on the Moon, Mars, and the outer colonies. Her face was on the company website, the annual reports, and had been on the cover of Business Future magazine just last month. Yet here she stood, being told she didn't belong. "I don't typically use branches at all, Mr. Palmer," she said coolly. "But when the CEO of Interstellar Financial Corporation needs cash, any branch should be able to provide service." The color drained from Gregory's face. His eyes darted to the wall behind him where, among the photos of bank leadership, Olivia's portrait hung prominently with Olivia Washington, Chief Executive Officer, written beneath it. "Ms. Washington," he stammered. "I had no idea." The system Didn't flag your account as belonging to me? Interesting. I approved the current security protocols myself just 3 months ago. By now, other customers were watching. A woman in line had recognized Olivia and was whispering to the person next to her. Olivia was well known, especially since her bank had made history by establishing the first banking outpost on Europa, Jupiter's moon. "Let me personally handle your withdrawal," Gregory offered, his manner completely changed. "If you'll step into my office." "That won't be necessary," Olivia replied firmly. "Kevin can complete the transaction, but I am curious why your system supposedly couldn't verify my identity." She removed a slim tablet from her jacket pocket and accessed the branch's security network, a privilege only the highest-level executives possessed. Within moments, she had pulled up the transaction logs. "According to this," she said, reviewing the data, "the system correctly identified me. The override came from your terminal, Mr. Palmer." Gregory's face reddened. "There must be some mistake." "The only mistake," Olivia said calmly, "was assuming I wouldn't notice or have the power to check." She turned to Kevin. "Please complete my withdrawal." Kevin, now understanding the situation, processed the transaction quickly. His hands trembled slightly as he counted out the bills and handed them to Olivia. "Thank you, Kevin," she said, placing the money in her pocket. She then made a quick call on her wrist communicator. "Patricia, it's Olivia. I need to delay the lunar inspection by half an hour. We have a situation at the Michigan Avenue branch that requires immediate attention." She ended the call and turned back to Gregory Palmer. "Mr. Palmer, we'll continue this conversation in your office now." The branch manager nodded stiffly and led the way to his office, aware that every eye in the bank was following them. Olivia walked with confidence, her back straight, her steps measured. In exactly 7 minutes, Gregory Palmer would no longer work for her bank. But first, she would make sure he understood exactly why. Gregory Palmer closed the door to his office and gestured to the chair across from his desk. The office was small but well appointed, with a view of the busy Chicago street below. Olivia remained standing. "How long have you been branch manager here, Mr. Palmer?" she asked. 3 years, he replied, his voice strained. "I was transferred from the Boston location." Olivia nodded slowly. "And in those 3 years, you never thought to memorize what the CEO of your company looks like?" Gregory swallowed hard. "Ms. Washington, I can explain." "No need," Olivia cut him off. "Your records have already explained everything." She turned her tablet so he could see the screen. It displayed a list of transaction records, all highlighted in red. "In the past year, you've personally overridden security protocols 27 times, she said. "Would you care to guess what all these cases have in common?" Gregory remained silent, his eyes fixed on the tablet. "Every single one involved a person of color," Olivia continued. 17 women and 10 men, all with accounts in good standing, all legitimate customers, and all subjected to extra security measures that white customers with similar transactions never faced. "That's not," Gregory began, but Olivia held up her hand. "The data doesn't lie, Mr. Palmer. Each override is logged in our system. Each decision you made is recorded." A knock at the door interrupted them. Patricia Gonzalez, Chief of Human Resources for IFC, entered the office. She had arrived remarkably quickly from the corporate headquarters 10 blocks away. "Patricia, thank you for coming," Olivia said, not taking her eyes off Gregory. "Of course," Patricia replied. She was a tall woman with short gray hair and a no-nonsense demeanor. She placed a folder on the desk between them. "I pulled Mr. Palmer's complete employee file as requested." Olivia finally sat down. "Mr. Palmer, do you know why Interstellar Financial Corporation has become the banking institution for humanity's expansion into space?" Gregory shifted uncomfortably. "Your technological innovations, I suppose." "That's part of it," Olivia acknowledged. "But technology alone doesn't build trust. When humans began living on Mars, they needed to know their money would follow them across 140 million miles of space. That requires absolute trust." Patricia opened the folder and pointed to several highlighted sections. This isn't the first time concerns have been raised about your conduct, Mr. Palmer. There were similar complaints at the Boston branch, though nothing was formally documented. Gregory's face hardened. With all due respect, Ms. Washington, I was following security protocols for unusual transactions. Were you? Olivia asked, sliding Patricia's tablet toward him. Because according to our records, 3 white male executives withdrew larger sums this week without triggering any concerns from you. She leaned forward. Next month, we open our first branch on Proxima Centauri b, 4 light-years from Earth. Do you understand what that means? A person will be able to walk into that branch and access their money instantly, without question, regardless of how they look. She stood up. We've achieved faster-than-light banking, Mr. Palmer, but apparently we haven't achieved equal treatment in our own flagship branch. Patricia spoke up. IFC's non-discrimination policy is very clear, Mr. Palmer. As branch manager, you're responsible for ensuring all customers are treated with equal respect and service. I've built this company on 2 principles, Olivia said. Technological innovation and absolute equality of service. The first has made us profitable. The second has made us trusted. She looked him directly in the eyes. Mr. Palmer, your employment with Interstellar Financial Corporation is terminated. Effective. Immediately. Gregory stood up quickly. You can't be serious. Over 1 misunderstanding? 28 misunderstandings, Olivia corrected him. Today's incident was simply the one you couldn't hide. Patricia handed him a digital tablet. Please sign here to acknowledge receipt of your termination notice. Your final pay will be processed according to company policy. You will be escorted to clear out your personal belongings. Gregory stared at the tablet, then at Olivia. This is ridiculous. I'll fight this. That is your right, Olivia replied, coolly. But I should warn you that every transaction, every override, every decision you've made is documented in our system. Should you choose to challenge this termination, all of that information will become part of the public record. Gregory's shoulders sagged as the reality of his situation sank in. He signed the tablet with a shaking finger and handed it back to Patricia. Security will assist you in gathering your things, Patricia said, opening the door to reveal 2 uniformed guards waiting outside. As Gregory was escorted out, Olivia turned to the bank's main floor. The customers and staff had been watching the glass-walled office with great interest. She straightened her jacket and walked purposefully to the center of the lobby. May I have everyone's attention, please? She called out. The bank fell silent. I am Olivia Washington, CEO of Interstellar Financial Corporation. I want to apologize for any disruption to your banking experience today. IFC was founded on the principle that all customers deserve equal respect and service, regardless of their appearance or background. Today we fell short of that standard, and for that I am truly sorry. She looked around at the surprised faces. Effective immediately, Kevin Mills will serve as acting branch manager until a permanent replacement is appointed. If anyone has concerns about their service today or any other day, please speak with him or contact our customer care team directly. Kevin looked stunned as all eyes turned to him. Olivia walked over to where he stood. Ms. Washington, I don't understand, he said quietly. I've only been here for 6 months. And in those 6 months, you've never once overridden security protocols without legitimate cause, she replied. Your record shows excellent customer service ratings and not a single complaint of discriminatory treatment. That's exactly the kind of leadership IFC needs. But I don't know how to run a branch, Kevin protested. You know how to treat people. With respect and dignity, Olivia said. The rest can be taught. She handed him her card. My assistant will arrange for you to meet with the regional director this afternoon. In the meantime, close the branch for lunch and gather the staff. Let them know what's happened and what's expected going forward. Kevin took the card with trembling fingers. Yes, ma'am. Thank you for this opportunity. Olivia nodded and turned to leave. As she walked toward the door, customers started to applaud. First just one person, then another, until the whole bank was filled with the sound. She paused at the entrance, acknowledging them with a small smile and a nod before stepping outside where her driver waited. "Back to headquarters, Darren," she said as she settled into the back seat, "and call the board. We need to have a serious discussion about company-wide training and accountability measures." As the car pulled away from the curb, Olivia looked back at the bank building. In 7 minutes, she had fired a manager and appointed his replacement, but the real work was just beginning. By evening, news of the incident had spread throughout the financial world. Olivia sat in her office at IFC Tower, the company's main headquarters in downtown Chicago. The wall-sized window behind her desk showed the city lights coming on as dusk settled. Her office was large but simple, with clean lines and minimal decoration. The only personal items were a photo of her family and a small rock from the Mars colony where IFC had opened its first off-world branch. Olivia looked at the live feed on her desk screen. It showed the lunar facility, a sprawling white structure, against the stark gray landscape. Tomorrow she would inspect the new Armstrong Financial District, IFC's flagship operation on the moon. The inspection had been delayed but not canceled. Olivia never canceled. A knock at her door broke her concentration. Frank Bennett, IFC's Director of Public Relations, entered with a tablet in his hand. He was a tall man with a worried expression. "Social media is exploding," Frank reported, sitting down across from her. "The hashtag Olivia Washington effect is trending globally. People are sharing their own banking discrimination stories." Olivia nodded thoughtfully. "Have we issued a statement?" "Yes," Frank confirmed. "We've reaffirmed our zero-tolerance policy for discrimination and announced a comprehensive review of all branch operations." "Good. What's the board saying?" Frank smiled for the first time. "They're fully behind you." The chairman called it exactly the kind of decisive leadership that made IFC what it is today. Olivia allowed herself a small smile. She had worked with most of the board members for over a decade. They understood her vision for the company. Patricia Gonzalez joined them, tablet in hand. "The preliminary audit shows 17 branches with similar patterns of behavior," she reported. "We've flagged them for immediate intervention." Olivia turned to look out at the Chicago skyline. When she had founded IFC 20 years ago, after leaving a prestigious position at a traditional bank where she'd faced constant discrimination, her vision had been revolutionary. A financial institution that would follow humanity to the stars, free from the prejudices of Earth. Schedule a company-wide address for tomorrow, she decided, and move Lisa Chen into the Michigan Avenue branch manager position. Frank raised an eyebrow. "Lisa's been managing our Mars orbital branch. Isn't that a step down?" "Not at all," Olivia replied. "Our Earth branches need the perspective of someone who's worked with colonists from every background. Lisa has processed transactions for scientists, miners, engineers, and settlers from 47 countries. She understands that in space, the only currency that truly matters is competence." Patricia made a note on her tablet. "I'll contact her right away. She's due for Earth leave anyway." "What about Kevin Mills?" Frank asked. "You promised him the position, at least temporarily, and he'll keep it until Lisa arrives. Then he'll become her assistant manager," Olivia explained. "He showed good judgment today. He deserves to be rewarded, and he needs a mentor to help him grow." A notification appeared on Olivia's screen. It was a message from Kevin himself. She opened it with a touch. "Ms. Washington," the message read, "I want to thank you for standing up to Mr. Palmer today. For years I've watched him treat certain customers differently. I never knew what to do about it. Today showed me what real leadership looks like. I hope to make IFC proud." Olivia smiled and made a note to track Kevin's career. Perhaps he had the makings of a future executive who understood that banking, whether on Earth or across the stars, was fundamentally about trust. "There's one more thing," Patricia said, looking uncomfortable. "Gregory Palmer is threatening to sue for wrongful termination. He claims he was following standard security protocols and that his firing was an overreaction." Olivia leaned back in her chair. "Let him try. Our legal team has the evidence. Every transaction, every override, every pattern of behavior is documented. If he wants to make this public, it will only hurt him more. Frank nodded in agreement. Still, we should prepare for some negative press. There will always be people who take his side. I didn't build this company by worrying about what other people think, Olivia said firmly. I built it by doing what's right. Just then, her desk screen lit up with an incoming call. It was the project director for the Proxima Centauri branch, IFC's most ambitious project yet. The first interstellar bank branch on humanity's farthest colony. Put him through, Olivia instructed. The face of Sam Rivera appeared on the screen. Behind him, workers moved equipment in what would soon be the bank's main lobby. Despite being over 4 light-years away, the connection was nearly instantaneous thanks to IFC's quantum communication technology, another innovation Olivia had pioneered. Ms. Washington, we're on schedule for next month's opening, Sam reported. The final security systems are being installed now. We've already had 50 colonists pre-register for accounts. Excellent, Olivia replied. Any problems I should know about? Sam hesitated. Nothing technical, but there's been some pushback from the colonial administrator. He suggested that an Earth-based bank might not understand the needs of interstellar colonists. Olivia narrowed her eyes. The Proxima colony was predominantly populated by scientists and engineers from Asian countries. The administrator, Harold Wilson, was an American who had been vocal about keeping Earth's problems from spreading to the stars. She had a feeling his concerns had little to do with banking regulations. Tell Administrator Wilson that I'll be personally attending the opening ceremony via hologram, she said, and remind him that without IFC's financial backing, there would be no Proxima colony at all. After the call ended, Olivia stood up and walked to the window. The city below was fully lit now, millions of lights shining in the darkness. 20 years ago, she had been denied a simple business loan at a bank much like the one she had visited today. The loan officer had told her that a space bank was too risky an investment, that a woman couldn't run such a complex operation, that some ideas were best left to more established financiers. Now IFC handled 90% of all off-world transactions. Their quantum banking system had made interplanetary commerce possible, and soon they would connect Earth to its first true interstellar colony. Olivia's wrist communicator chimed softly. It was a reminder about her trip to the moon tomorrow. She needed to rest, but her mind was still racing with plans. The Gregory Palmer incident had shown her that despite all their technological advancement, some old prejudices remained. It was time to address them directly, not just in one branch but company-wide. Patricia, she called as her HR director was about to leave. Add one more thing to tomorrow's agenda. I want to announce a new executive training program. Let's call it the Frontier Initiative. We'll identify promising employees from all backgrounds and fast-track them for leadership positions. Patricia smiled knowingly. And should I add Kevin Mills to the first class of trainees? Absolutely, Olivia confirmed. The future of banking won't be determined by those who cling to old prejudices, but by those who can see beyond them, to the stars. 1 month later, Olivia stood on the observation deck of the lunar facility. Through the thick glass windows, she could see Earth hanging in the black sky, a blue and white marble against the darkness of space. The new Armstrong Financial District gleamed in the harsh sunlight, its white buildings stark against the gray lunar landscape. Olivia wore a standard-issue lunar suit, modified with IFC's silver and blue colors. Though gravity on the moon was only 1/6 of Earth's, she moved with the careful precision that all lunar visitors learned quickly. One wrong step could send you bouncing awkwardly across the room. Lisa Chen approached, her own lunar suit, marking her as part of the Mars division. Her recent transfer to Earth had been delayed so she could meet with Olivia here on the moon first. The Michigan Avenue branch is ready for my arrival next week, Lisa reported. Kevin Mills has been doing an excellent job as acting manager. Customer satisfaction ratings are up 15%. Olivia nodded with approval. And how's he handling the pressure? Very well, Lisa said. He's organized a staff training program on identifying and preventing discrimination. He's turned the Palmer incident into a learning opportunity. Good, Olivia replied. That's exactly the kind of initiative we need. They walked together through the facility. inspecting the operations of IFC's lunar headquarters. Bank employees nodded respectfully as they passed. Many had never seen the CEO in person before. Olivia stopped to speak with as many as she could, asking about their work and their experiences living on the moon. Most of our lunar clients are mining operations and research facilities, Lisa explained as they continued their tour. But we're seeing more individual accounts as permanent lunar residents increase. And the new quantum transaction system? Olivia asked. Working perfectly. Transfers between Earth, Luna, and Mars are instantaneous now. No more delay, even when the planets are at their furthest orbital points. They reached the main conference room where a team was preparing for a special broadcast. Today, Olivia would make history again. The opening of the Proxima Centauri branch would mark humanity's first financial institution beyond the solar system. Are we ready? Olivia asked the technical director. Yes, ma'am. The quantum channel is stable. Your hologram will appear in the Proxima branch as if you're physically there, and you'll see them just as clearly. Olivia took her position on the marked circle in the center of the room. The walls around her seemed to disappear as the holographic system activated. Suddenly, she appeared to be standing in a bright, modern bank lobby 4 light years from Earth. A crowd of colonists had gathered for the opening ceremony. When we first ventured beyond our solar system, Olivia began, her voice carrying across the vast distance. The greatest challenge wasn't technology, it was trust. How could we assure people that their financial security would follow them to the stars? The colonists listened attentively. They were a diverse group: scientists, engineers, farmers, teachers, and their families. All had taken the bold step of leaving the solar system to build humanity's future on a distant world. Today, IFC doesn't just connect Earth to its colonies financially, Olivia continued. We connect humanity across the stars. When a colonist on Proxima Centauri deposits their earnings, their family on Mars or Earth can access those funds instantly. Not in years, not in months, but now. She gestured to the sleek interior of the branch, designed to make colonists feel connected to home while embracing their new world. But technology alone isn't enough. True innovation requires humanity. Every person who enters an IFC branch, whether on Earth, Luna, Mars, Europa, or here on Proxima Centauri b, deserves equal respect, service, and opportunity. Administrator Harold Wilson stood at the back of the crowd, his arms crossed over his chest. He had not been happy about Olivia's involvement in the opening ceremony, but the colonists had insisted. Many of them had chosen to move to Proxima, specifically because IFC's banking system would allow them to maintain financial ties with family back home. The incident at our Michigan Avenue branch last month wasn't just about one person denied service, Olivia explained. It represented a mindset we must leave behind as we reach for the stars. Out here, we cannot afford the luxury of prejudice. Survival depends on recognizing the value of every individual, regardless of appearance. She introduced Sam Rivera, who would serve as the branch director. Sam stepped forward to join Olivia's hologram. As your branch director, I promise that IFC Proxima will uphold the highest standards of equality and service, Sam said. After all, we're not just a bank. We're the financial backbone of humanity's greatest adventure. The ceremony concluded with the processing of the first official transaction, a deposit from the colony's mineral extraction operation that would fund the next wave of expansion. The funds would be instantly available to the company's headquarters on Earth, a miracle of technology that Olivia had made possible. As her hologram faded and the walls of the lunar conference room reappeared around her, Olivia felt a deep sense of satisfaction. She turned to find Kevin Mills standing there looking nervous in his new lunar suit. Kevin, she said with surprise, I didn't know you were coming to the moon. Ms. Chen thought it would be good for my training, he explained. I've never been off Earth before. And what do you think of it? Olivia asked, gesturing to the lunar landscape visible through the windows. It's amazing, Kevin said honestly, but also strange to think that banking works the same here as it does on Earth. Money is still money, whether it's in Chicago or on the moon. Olivia smiled. That's exactly right. And people are still people, whether they're on Earth, the moon, Mars or Proxima Centauri. That's something Gregory Palmer never understood. Speaking of Mr. Palmer, Kevin said hesitantly, he dropped his lawsuit yesterday. The evidence was too strong against him. I'm not surprised, Olivia replied. Truth has a way of winning out. They walked together toward the shuttle bay. Olivia's Earth transport would be leaving soon. There's one more thing, Kevin said. I've been accepted into the Frontier Initiative. I start training next month. Congratulations, Olivia said warmly. The program is tough, but if you work hard, you could be managing your own off-world branch someday. Kevin looked out at the stark lunar landscape. I never imagined I'd even visit the moon, let alone work here. Thank you for giving me this chance. You earned it, Olivia told him. You showed integrity when it mattered most. As they reached the shuttle bay, Olivia received an urgent message on her communicator. A young woman had been refused a business loan at a branch in Atlanta. The loan officer had cited insufficient experience despite her impressive qualifications. Olivia checked the applicant's background, top of her class at MIT, 2 successful startups already, and a brilliant proposal for developing gravity-resistant payment systems. Olivia looked at Kevin, then back at her communicator. It seems some lessons need to be taught more than once. Kevin, how would you like to join me on a trip to Atlanta tomorrow? I think it would be educational for you. Kevin nodded eagerly. I'd be honored, Ms. Washington. Good, she said, because the future of banking isn't just about going to new worlds. It's about making sure everyone has equal access to the resources they need to reach those worlds. As her shuttle prepared for departure, Olivia looked once more at the Earth, hanging in the black sky. The planet seemed small from here, its borders invisible, its divisions meaningless against the vastness of space. That was the future she was building. One transaction, one branch, one lesson at a time. 6 months later, Olivia stood at the podium in the grand ballroom of the Chicago Space Commerce Center. The room was filled with hundreds of people dressed in formal attire. Executives, politicians, scientists, and journalists had gathered for the annual Space Finance Awards. Olivia wore a deep blue dress with silver patterns that mimicked constellations. Her natural hair was styled elegantly, and she wore the small silver pin that marked her as a frequent space traveler. It is my great honor, she said to the crowd, to present this year's Innovation Award to Dr. Alicia Morgan, whose gravity-resistant payment system has revolutionized commerce in variable gravity environments. The young woman who walked onto the stage was the same one who had been denied a loan in Atlanta 6 months earlier. Now her company was valued at over $50 million, and her technology was being used on the Moon, Mars, and all human settlements in space. Thank you, Ms. Washington, Alicia said as she accepted the award. None of this would have been possible without IFC's support. When others turned me away, you saw the potential in my ideas. Olivia smiled warmly. She did not mention the Atlanta branch manager who had been fired after denying Alicia's loan application. That was old news now. What mattered was the future they were building together. After the ceremony, Olivia mingled with the guests. She spotted Kevin Mills across the room, deep in conversation with a group of young executives. He had completed the Frontier Initiative training program with top marks and was now assistant manager at the New Armstrong Lunar Branch under Lisa Chen's mentorship. He had adapted well to life on the moon. Frank Bennett approached with a tablet in hand. The latest numbers are in, he reported. IFC now handles 95% of all off-world transactions. The Proxima branch has been particularly successful. And our diversity initiatives? Olivia asked. Exceeding targets on all fronts, Frank replied proudly. The number of women and minorities in leadership positions has increased by 40%. Across all branches, Earth and space. Patricia Gonzalez joined them, accompanied by an older man Olivia recognized as Senator James Carter, head of the Committee on Space Commerce. Ms. Washington, the senator greeted her. I've been hearing remarkable things about your Frontier Initiative. The committee is very interested in your approach to equal opportunity in space development. The principles are simple, Senator, Olivia explained. Space doesn't care about your skin color, gender, or where you were born. It only cares about competence and character. Our banking policies reflect that reality. If only all Earth-based institutions were so forward-thinking, the senator commented. We're working on legislation to require equal lending practices for space ventures, but it's meeting resistance. Change always does, Olivia replied. But the future belongs to those who embrace it. Their conversation was interrupted by a gentle chime from Olivia's wrist communicator. It was a message marked urgent. She excused herself and moved to a quiet corner to read it. The message was from Administrator Harold Wilson on Proxima Centauri b. Despite his initial resistance to IFC's presence, he had become one of their strongest allies. Colonial Council approved expansion plans, the message read. Need financing for second settlement. Traditional banks refuse due to excessive risk. Can IFC help? Population expected to double in 5 years. Olivia smiled as she typed her response. Bring full proposal to next quantum meeting. IFC believes in Proxima's future. She returned to the party just as the music started. The band played a mix of Earth classics and new compositions from Mars and the Moon. Guests began to dance, their movements slightly exaggerated in Chicago's higher gravity by those who lived off-world. Patricia approached again. The board meeting is scheduled for tomorrow morning. They want to discuss your 5-year plan for interstellar expansion. Good, Olivia nodded. I have some new ideas to share. They're also recommending you for an unprecedented 5th term as CEO, Patricia added. The vote is expected to be unanimous. Olivia looked around the room at the diverse crowd of Earth people and space colonists, all working together to build humanity's future among the stars. When she had started IFC 20 years ago, people had laughed at her vision of a bank that would follow humanity to other worlds. No one was laughing now. Kevin Mills approached, looking slightly nervous. Ms. Washington, I wanted to thank you again for everything. Lisa says I might be ready to manage my own branch by next year. Hear good things about your work, Kevin, Olivia told him. How are you enjoying life on the moon? It took some getting used to, he admitted. But now when I look up at Earth in the sky, it gives me a new perspective. Problems that seemed big down there look small from up there. That's exactly right, Olivia agreed. It's why space is so important for humanity. It changes how we see ourselves and each other. As the evening wound down, Olivia stepped out onto the balcony that overlooked Lake Michigan. The water stretched dark and vast before her, reminiscent of space itself. Above, the stars shone brightly, and she could just make out the faint gleam of lunar lights where human civilization had taken root on another world. 20 years ago, a bank manager had looked at her business plan and told her that space banking was a fantasy. 6 months ago, Gregory Palmer had looked at her face and decided she didn't belong in her own bank. Both men had been wrong, limited by their narrow vision of what was possible and who could achieve it. Her wrist communicator chimed again. It was a message from Sam Rivera at the Proxima branch. You won't believe this, but we just got our first customer from outside the colony. A trading ship from Alpha Centauri system made contact. They want to open an account to trade with our colonists. They have their own settlements we didn't know about. This could be first contact with another human civilization that developed independently. Olivia read the message twice, her heart racing with excitement. Humans in the Alpha Centauri system, independent settlements, the possibilities were endless. She looked up at the stars again, thinking of how far they had come and how far they still had to go. The future would bring new challenges, new prejudices to overcome, new barriers to break. But it would also bring new opportunities, new connections, new understanding between people of all backgrounds. Tomorrow she would present her 5-year plan to the board, but perhaps it was time to think even bigger. 10 years, 20. A century of human expansion among the stars with IFC helping to fund it all, making sure that everyone, regardless of who they were or what they looked like, had equal access to the resources they needed to reach for the heavens. The balcony door opened behind her and Patricia stepped out. Car's ready when you are, Olivia. Olivia took one last look at the stars. Tell them I'll be right there. I have a future to plan.